Right then, so a quick walk around video for a really striking looking Honda. This is the Honda Civic 1.8 SR and it's the Tourer or estate car, and it's automatic. One of the facelift versions, finished in this beautiful but appallingly named sporty blue metallic. 67,000 miles on the clock and it's been kept absolutely beautifully. Go around the front of the car. It's a new style front end on them, looks absolutely fantastic. Lights and lenses are all clear and intact, there's no cracks or condensation in them. Bonnet, very clean indeed. I mean, there will be a stone chip I'm sure, but I can't see one. Near side of the car, beautifully smooth in the panels, no obvious car park dinks or dents on there or scrapes. Near side front alloy, very clean indeed. A bit of mud splash, but that's nothing to do with quality of the alloy. Inside rear alloy, again, absolutely fantastic condition. Come around the bumper corners, again, very clean, tidy. Really handsomely styled cars, they really are. Some cars don't look good as estates, and some cars I think look at their best as an estate. I think this is one of those. Around the back, bumper corner again, lovely and clean. And offside, driver side, beautifully smooth in the panels again. Offside rear alloy, lovely condition. Remaining panel work is really crisp for a car that's now, what's that, 7-8 years old. It is in really lovely condition. It's coming to the boot area now, absolutely cavernous boots, and as expected of a Honda, really nicely finished. It's coming to the back of the car now, it's full black leather interior. The rear seats on most family cars are normally very heavily used, and yet those have been kept absolutely beautifully. It's coming on the front and passenger side. Again, all very clean and tidy. Passenger seat there, wonderful condition. It's finally coming on the driver's side. Again, lovely and clean. Some of the footwell areas and the driver's seat in very good condition. The only one that's going to show any kind of minor wear, which it does, but compared to most of this vintage, in beautiful condition. So inside the car now, as always, I have the engine running, so the dash can be seen illuminated, which is in beautiful condition. Sat nav, you can see, working exactly as it should. Likewise, rear parking camera. It's been kept very well indeed. And come up to the main dash binnacle. Hopefully you can see that. That's where you should set your driving position, by the way, in one of these. So the steering wheel is halfway between the rev counter and the speedo. But what a fantastic dash design that is. It looks absolutely stunning. If I come in up here, hopefully you can see 67,324 miles, and there are no warning lights on the dashboard at all. Finally, just to show you, owner's manual pack and lock and wheel nut key, all here and present with the car. Right then, this is a quick road test video, and this is for Honda Civic 1.8 SR automatic, and it's the Tourer version. The car's registered FD16EYX with a mileage of 67,324 recorded. The reason we do all of our videos, and as I say, especially actually this road test section, is to ensure that if anyone's online looking at any of our cars, they get to see the very car advertised actually in operation. And the reason is we feel it's important is simply because, like far too many people, we've been to see cars which have looked absolutely fine in photographs or description, but only to get there and find out when you drive it, it's got an obvious fault that shows up as soon as you drive the car. So hence that's why we do it. Also done on these very quiet country roads in this beautiful part of Gloucestershire. This actually forms part of the road test route we take our customers on, and the hope is then it'll be representative of what you'd feel yourself should you be offered a test drive in the car. So coming to the car, lovely car, lovely condition. Engine starts instantly and settles to a completely smooth, even idle. There are no warning lights on the dashboard at all whilst the engine's running or in motion, and temperature gauge running at a third, which is exactly where it's meant to be on a Honda car. The engines are absolutely brilliant. Honda, as I repeatedly say, build the best 4-cylinder engines in the world, and it's not just to do with reliability. In terms of reliability, they are, it's the most reliable car in its class by a long way. Their cam bearing chain driven. There's no cam belts to worry about on them. But more than that, in some ways, it's just how they drive. It's got such a sweet, effortless way the engine sort of delivers its power. When you put your foot down, the engine note is crisp, but engineered. It's got a lovely kind of sophistication to it. Very flexible units. Lovely unit to drive, I have to say. Goes through this, conventional Honda automatic gearbox, and all the better for it. Lovely gear changes, smooth to the point of being imperceptible. Ratio is obviously chosen to extract the best out of the car in terms of performance, but also economy. So it's a compromise between the two, but does a lovely job. And the gearboxes, like the engines, have a reputation for being incredibly durable. But as I always say in every video with an automatic, you should do the same checks regardless of reputation. So basically, as you're on the move, just make sure that the gear changes are smooth, and they are in this one perfect. But also when you select drive or reverse from stationary, just make sure there's no sort of clunks or thunks as they engage. And again, in every respect, it's absolutely spot on. Steering and chassis in the car, absolutely fantastic on these vehicles. It's one of the more dynamic even cars on the road. It does everything you want of a family car, in that it's very comfortable and compliant in terms of the ride it delivers, but when it goes to the corners, you've got this lovely weighted, precise, accurate steering. So when you go through, it just flows beautifully, but with a keenness and eagerness, but that doesn't unsettle. It's brilliantly done. Steering, by the way, wait for it to straighten up a touch. Track's absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. And likewise, the suspension of the car, there's no clonks or rattles at all from it underneath. It just feels absolutely solid. It's in a good way. These do have adaptive rear dampers, so you've got a little button down here so I can change them. If I press the button there, I'm in comfort mode currently, so sort of softer and squidgier. Press it, sorry, that's the lane departure, if I was trying to go across the line. Press it again, I'm now in dynamic, and you can feel it noticeably firmer. It's not one of these where you can't feel any difference. It genuinely does. So if you load it up, it's quite nice. Generally, for the kind of roads, unfortunately, we now have, I drive most of these I've had in comfort mode, because it's just the most absorbent of all of them. Brakes on the car, make sure no one's directly behind me, but very good brake pedal on the car, nice and powerful and solid. Finally, coming inside, the first thing you're aware of when you get in probably most Hondas is the build quality. They are beautifully put together cars, but more so with these, I just love this interior, because it's an interior that's, it's designed to definitely sort of give a more interesting aspect to kind of operating a car, but not at the sense of the expense, rather, of practicality. The styling is very much of personal choice, and I always say with these interiors, it is a bit of a Marmite car, but I just love this dash because it does wrap around you. It does make you feel quite special. The most conventional part definitely is this centre stack. So you've got sat nav obviously working perfectly, dual zone climate control, pumps out absolutely ice cold air, all the switch gears, that beautiful damped quality of actuation that Honda always give you, heated seats, all working perfectly. But then my favourite part is this two-tier design directly in front. So the upper tier is the stuff you can look at on a more regular basis. You've got an information pad up on the left hand side, so if you change things like radio or fan speeds, you get a small display down here but a much bigger one up there, so you catches your eye more easily. But the display that everyone looks at, or should do, on the most regular basis, is the speed, and there it is, big bold digital display. You can't miss it. It's absolute genius, because as you look at the road ahead, at other traffic, pedestrians, cyclists, whatever, you can see your speed at the corner of your eye without taking your eyes off the road for a second. It is absolutely brilliant. Down below that, but then got more conventional pod, 3 dials, big rev counter in the middle, flanked either side by temperature and fuel gauges, and And finally, this lovely thick-rimmed, leather-bound steering wheel. Car's in lovely condition in here. Just wonderful, wonderful cars. And it's, you know, when you drive one again, you know, having driven one of these a little while, you are reminded, you know, why they are so popular, why they hold the value so well, because they are relatively dear actually. But the good thing is that means you're going to hold your value more as well, because they depreciate more slowly than pretty much anything else in their class. Can't fault it, drives absolutely beautifully.